Okay, Eric Black. Can you all hear me? Or I'm just not
Yep.
seeing?
Nope, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I struck out on the first two. Okay, Amy Bro.
Thought
Robert
Amy
Broom.
left.
Okay, Robert Broomfeld
This is Alicia Cremines. I'm serving as proxy.
for Robert.
Correct.
Okay. Ying Chen.
Yes.
Farhan Chowdhury,
Here.
John Davy,
Present.
Elizabeth Dalala, Michael Eichholz,
Present.
Scott Gilbert, Michael Hyland, Elaine Drakowski,
Present.
Arash Kamai,
Here.
Sung-Hee Lee,
Here.
Yu-Ting Lee,
Here.
Patrick McGrath, Stacy McKinney,
Here.
Khalid Mexum, Grant Miller, let's see, Grant,
Here.
there. Amanda Pagrazio, Mike Phillips,
Here.
Louis Premkumar, Jeffrey Punske,
Present.
Bethany Rader,
Present.
let's see, Mary Taylor is proxy for Matt Grozalski,
Here.
Laura Ritchie, Said Samadi,
Yes, yeah.
Diane or Amber Pond for Diana Sarko, Sylvia Smith,
Yeah, here.
and let's see, Joe Schrammick is covered. Julie Tate, Jennifer Walker,
Here.
Li Ching Wang,
Here.
Sheree Watson,
Here.
and Rachel Whaley. Okay, that's roll call.
Thank you very much, Julie. So we're going to move to number 3, the agenda item, approval of the minutes from last meeting this month, April 11th. So any correction, question, comments? So no question, no comments. We're going to have a motion to anyone to move it. Second,
So moved.
anyone second?
I'll second it.
Okay, either Mike or Sherry. Okay, so who is that? Okay, Mike, you are going to second, right?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Mike. Okay, now we're going to vote to approve the minutes. So shall we just put the hands on electronically? That's either.
Yes, so all those in favor of approving the minutes, please raise a hand.
Okay, how many could you please count?
I think I'm seeing
I have 19.
19, that's why I was getting 19 as well.
Thank you. Anyone disapprove or objection, please lower down your hands unless you disprove it or nay. Okay, Mary, Are you going to disprove?
Sorry, I'm trying to lower my hand. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So, okay, good. So I assume no one opposed the minutes? Abstention? Abstention. Okay, minutes approved. Thank you very much. Okay. The next one on the agenda, the report. Okay. This is my last report. Good afternoon, everyone. I've been enjoying working with you in the past few years. As the Faculty Senate President, I'm going to report 3 areas which is different from usual. So number 1, Faculty Senator accomplishment. Number 2, appreciation to Faculty Senators. Number 3, challenges and opportunities. And I try to be brief. First of all, we have collectively accomplished a lot because of you, Faculty Senators. Our monthly newsletter covered what we did. There's no need for me to repeat the information there. And each standing committee has sent their annual report, which will be posted on the Faculty Senator website. And in fact, each summary is their accomplishment, the report of the accomplishment, and thus I will skip it. Second, I would like to extend my great appreciation to different groups and individuals. First of all, our constituency's office manager, Mr. Josh Fried. Without Josh's work, we cannot function well. Thank you so much, Josh, for your hard work and excellent collaboration. And also, I would like to extend my appreciation thanks to both Professor Bethany Reeder and Junie Tate for their team efforts. And I wish to express my appreciation to those Faculty Senator, Executive Committee member, and standing committee chairs for their great work. UEPC co-chair, previously Dr. George Remick and Dr. Amy Bro, and currently we have Professor Jennifer Walker, that's UEPC co-chairs. Then Faculty Status Welfare Committee co-chairs, especially Dr. Scott Gibbard, and also Professor Arash Kamoy. Then Budget Committee co-chairs, Dr. Mike Eikos and Dr. Farhan Chowdhury, and Governance Committee co-chairs, Patrick McRoss and Khalid Maxim, and the Committee on Committee co-chairs, Professor Sung-Hee Lee and Professor Inan Jokovsky, and the IBHE representative, Professor Ni-Chang Wang. I want to take the last moment to express my appreciation to those co-chairs and representatives. Third, and I will take the opportunity to express my appreciation to those faculty senators whose turn will expire very soon. And thank you so much for your service in the faculty senator until today. And for the CLPS, that means College of Agriculture, Life Science, Physical Science, Khalid Maxim, Ni-Chang Wang, their term will be over. And College of Business Analytics, Professor Sylvia Smith. And also CHS, my turn, and also Jennifer Walker, okay, and School of Education, Grant Miner. And CECTM, then College of Engineering, Computing and Technology, Mathematics, Professor Farhan Chowdhury. And College of Liberal Arts, Patrick McRoss and Joseph Shiremick. And School of Medicine, Eric Black and Dr. Eric Black and Elizabeth Delana, Professor Elizabeth Delana, and NTT senators or professors, Amanda Pancrazio, Mike Phillips, and Junie Tate, and Sherry Watson. Thank you very much for serving on the faculty senate. And there are 3 opportunities and challenges ahead of us. And for example, first, how shall we get more faculty members engaged? That's first opportunity or challenges. Obviously, get them more engaged, very important in our faculty Senate business. Second, how shall we advocate for faculty members' voice, including shared governance, faculty interest, equity, faculty retention, and also increase campus morale? This is second opportunities or challenges. And the final challenges, opportunities, and our reorganization is not finished yet. We still need to get involved in the new operating table for the benefits of faculty members. Now it's time for me to take a break and let the new president to address these new opportunities or challenges. I will support whoever will be elected as new officers. Thank you so much. Any question or comments?
I don't have a comment, but I would like to thank Dr. Lee for serving as president for the last 2 years. He has done an excellent job amongst some very interesting and hard circumstances, and we appreciate your service.
Thank you, Bethany. Mike?
I just wanted to do the same, and I'll say, Dr. Lee, you're going to be a tough act to follow as far as the communication, the monthly emails or weekly emails in many cases. You've raised the bar for our next president. Good luck, Bethany.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. If there are no more comments, no more question, and we're going to move to the next item on the agenda. Well, the remarks from the chancellor and the provost, co-provost, we have a chancellor. I saw Chancellor Nan and Dr. Mark Morris, or there. Are you, Chancellor Nan? Are you there?
I am, sir. How you doing? I'm here.
Okay, would you like, I know today the meeting is pretty tight. So could you give us a brief overview? Then maybe 1 or 2 questions because we stay with about 59 minutes or 60 minutes.
I was going to say, Dr. Lee, that's a nice way of you telling me you're going to give me the hook if I go too long. So I'll jump right in. Well, first, let me piggyback on what Bethany and Mike and others have just said about you, if you will allow me a minute here to do that. I remember 3 years ago when I arrived, I think one of the first meetings I had was with Dr. Lee, and he was not operating in the capacity of the Faculty Senate president. And he took me over to the residential facilities. I think we drove around campus and gave me some really good insight as I was starting that listening and learning tour, and it was extremely valuable. Chancellors that do this work know that, you know, you're only as good as your Faculty Senate president, in that you've got to make sure that, you know, you listen, you got to make sure that you communicate. And I think over the last 2 years, we've got more text messages between us. Some we probably need to delete, Dr. Lee, just FYI. We probably need to
I
delete
deleted all the weeks ago.
Oh, you deleted yours already? I need to delete mine, man. But you know, and all of that was good work, above board work that could be shared anywhere. But you know, stuff where he would tell me, "Hey, this looks great," or "Hey, guess what? We got some work to do." And he was never afraid to let me know what was going on, to give me the pulse of our faculty, and always there to advocate for faculty. And as you know, shared governance, I think he's mentioned that at every single meeting. So I thank you for your work, and again, appreciate all you've done in this capacity for the institution. You know, the next accolades here is for our faculty. Last week, we had a really nice ceremony for our faculty excellence winners. And so if you see some of these folks, and if you're on the call, congratulations. We have Sabrina Nullifar, who received an award. Leslie Durham received an award. Punit Kohli received an award, and Tim Marlowe. And we will also highlight those individuals at our board meeting on Thursday. So if you see any of those individuals, if you could hear what some of the folks wrote about them, it was very impressive. We've got a great group that has been able to achieve a lot of success, some in a very short period of time. So hats off to those individuals. Very quickly moving on to the active shooter or active threat assessment. We wrapped that up last week. Thank you for your patience with that. You know, it was something that was really long overdue and much needed just to keep us in a place where we want to be. Unfortunately, we're seeing some of these things happen across the country. Just yesterday, it happened at a place not too far from where I went to school, University of Oklahoma, at Rose State Community College, right there next to Oklahoma City. And so just being prepared is really our goal, is to make sure we can be as prepared as we can be. And again, we've learned some things through that event that's going to help us get even better. So that's something that we won't do a threat drill like that every year, but we will do an assessment in terms of whatever it is that we implemented this year, that we make sure it's still in play next year and the year after. So we will continue to do that. So that seemed to go pretty well. Legislative session, as you know, will wrap up next month. It's our hope. And, you know, right now we're still counting on the 5.5 million to come in for us for SIU Carbondale. That is what we're down there focused on. We attended the SIU Day last week in Springfield. That went very well. Our state reps, our senators, they believe in the work that we're doing. They're excited about the things that we're doing here. So they definitely want to support it. MAP grants, aim high dollars will be going up in those proposals that are coming, obviously, from the governor that goes to the House and the Senate. So we want to make sure that, you know, again, we're in a good position there. If we're able to have all of that approved, that will go a long way for our institution financially. As you know, we are only 3 weeks away from commencement. On the 13th, we'll have the 2 commencement ceremonies. Hopefully you're starting to see some information about that. I always give a shameless plea and plug to make sure our faculty are there. I say this all the time. 20 years from now, they will not have a clue who I am or remember me. Trust me, they will remember you a lot more than they remember me. So, you know, I think our students appreciate seeing you there. Definitely an opportunity in the ceremony where I get to highlight you for being there. So I look forward to doing that, by the way, when I have these commencement exercises, when I'm reading through the script. So I really look forward to seeing you there. You'll see some new faces. Switching gears real quick on employees. We have finally, we think in June, hired our new Chief Human Resource Officer. So our director basically of human resources, individual that's coming from Ohio University. He will be here in June. That information should be out there circulating somewhere. Also, our new Chief Marketing Officer, he's taking Jim Potter's position. That individual's coming from the University of Missouri, has some ties to Murfreesboro, and also SEMO. He worked at SEMO for a couple of years back. So he'll be starting his position here soon. And we're finally going to hire our Institutional Effectiveness Research and Planning Director. I should have that person. The committee has recommended 3. I interview 3, and then we'll have a decision on who that person will be no later than the end of the week. But really good candidate pool in all 3 of those searches, and so really excited about it. One final piece, we had a very successful Saluki Ball in Chicago. Well attended, probably over 600 some odd people there. Just a great room. If some of you were able to attend, I hope you had a good time. It was a lot of alums, a lot of supporters, a lot of legislative folks in there, and so we're able to raise a significant amount of money that night, and those funds will go directly to help close the gap for those students who are trying to pay those bursar bills off to either graduate or in some cases even to come into the institution. So Great event overall. I think folks had fun riding the Saluki train all the way from Carbondale to Chicago and back. And so good times all the way around there. And other than that, that concludes my report, Dr. Lee. Unless there's any other items you'd like for me to cover, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. We have time for 1 or 2 questions if you have. Senator Mina?
Yes, good afternoon, Chancellor Lane. This is my last meeting after 6 years, so I'm getting to take a break, so you won't have to hear from me very much after today. But I wanted to put one item in there real quick concerning our students. We and the UEPC committee looked at the academic probation policies that you have, and I would encourage your team to dig a bit deeper in terms of how we're going to be supporting our students in that area. There are some things where we're going to have our recruitment and retention folks looking specifically at helping that system. They're already doing a ton of work, as far as like recruiting and visiting high schools. So it might be a different kind of investment that we're thinking about that even goes beyond just throwing University 103 toward these students. We have some students in our program that we noticed from different areas that we've been heavily recruiting from who finished the fall semester with a 0 GPA. So these folks are going to need a lot of support, and University 103 is not going to be enough. We have a lot of great things on campus like that we serve to support our athletes as far as different academic programs are concerned. So I would just want to say to encourage your academic or your team to to focus a little bit more and maybe dig a little bit deeper in terms of how we support students that will be recruiting who need maybe some additional academic support. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we will. That's a great point. One conversation we had earlier today, and probably going to get a little flack for this. I'm going to talk to some students about it. We're finding out that students don't do optional, and that we have a lot of services and support services that are here, but they're not utilizing them, or some may not know where they are. So it's a little difficult sometimes trying to go through a maze and find out, what should I do? So we're going to be a lot more intentional about where things are, who gets it. Students like, for example, in exploratory studies that may come in undecided, being a little more rigid in terms of, here's what you have to do. It works in programs like the Dr. Seymour Bryson program, where the success rate is close to 98%. It's because a lot of that it's mandatory, right? It's things that they have to do, things that we know will help them persist. So to your point, we've been talking about that a lot. And really kind of warming some students up who are coming in. We got the predictive analytics. We know who's coming in, and we know exactly what they're going to need in that first semester and/or first year. So great point.
Thank you. We have Senator Maxon.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Lee. And actually, we're going to miss you a lot. So, Chancellor, I have one question for you, if it's possible. We all know that SIU Edwardsville has got actually over $100 million for new buildings. Can you update us about, the situations? We all know that the infrastructure in SIU is going down. Can you update us about the new buildings that we're going to have here in SIU, and especially the greenhouse project? Because that concerns, about 50 classes, and all the faculty that teach there are very concerned about our student enrollment and even retention.
Well, you'll be happy about the greenhouse. That's something on what we call our wish list. That's one of the top items, and we actually have that submitted with our state reps and senators to get funding for. The other side of that funding, because I know that was a building that unfortunately was knocked off the list when everything went south. So it's back on there. That's the good news. As you know, obviously, to get those buildings, the state has to come through. So our biggest building that's come through is a communication building. That was our biggest project when we looked at how we prioritize projects a few years back. SIUE had that particular building on their list as well. So that's why their particular project came through. So we have ramp projects that we list several buildings on those projects that we hope to get funded from or funding from the state on. And so the greenhouse is up there as a number one item. That's the good news. And now it's just a matter of making sure the funds follow that. So that's that's really for every institution in our state. They put up as many buildings as they can, and they hope that the state will be able to give them resources. One new building that we will most likely have here that's not funded from state funds is going to be our SIU foundation building that also doubles as a welcome center on the front of campus where the McAndrews Stadium used to be. But you'll hear more about that in the board meeting on Thursday. It's a beautiful facility. So the architect, it's an SIU person, by the way, but the architect put together a nice rendering of this, I think it's about 40,000 some odd square foot building that'll be at the entryway of campus, but you'll get more information on that. But that's a private building for us. But yeah, to your point, that greenhouse it's right back up top. Thanks to you, actually. I think you were the one that mentioned it a couple of months ago. So it is in the mix. Our fingers crossed.
Thank you. Because of time, I would like to invite co-provost Dr. Mark Morris. Do you have anything to a few comments or?
Very brief, very brief. First, real quick, I appreciate working with you, Dr. Lee, as well in this capacity. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to continuing to work with you, however different roles may be down the road. So thank you.
Thank you.
We want to circle back certainly with the faculty equity study and get the feedback. So I would welcome a meeting with the two co-chairs perhaps in the next week or two. I'll be reaching out to kind of hear the results and next steps that we can take with this, and really looking forward to hearing the information. I'm sure it's a very rich report, and I appreciate all the work that you all have done with it. Really impressive. The other is we have the 7 operating papers to date, I believe, have been sent to the faculty senate.
Yeah.
Whenever we're waiting comment on those, whenever that comes along, and we'll be preparing additional ones to be sending soon. And just lastly would be the academic standing, that policy. Any feedback that you have, thank you, Dr. Miller, for the feedback that you've provided. But if there's any additional feedback with respect to that, we really would love to hear it. So feel free to send it my way.
Thank you. Thank you. I know we forward you some feedback on probation and suspension policy, and if faculty senate have more, feel free to send it to the new president or who will be elected today, or send to me. I pass to her or him. Mike?
Hey, Mark, I was going to mention this during our budget committee report, but since you're here and talking about it now, I'll just go ahead and give my report now real quickly and you make sure you hear it. So I was really hoping to have a draft of this out to the committee members before our meeting today, so I could report today that they were looking at the final draft. That did not happen, but it will definitely be out to the rest of the committee tomorrow. The delay is almost entirely my fault for just getting behind on other things, and this got put on hold for a little longer than I was hoping it would. But we should have it. I'm going to request that the committee provide drafts or comments on the draft, hopefully by Friday or Saturday. So you will have it in your hands by sometime next week. And I'm sure that Farhan and I would be glad to meet with you sometime the following week then to discuss it.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yep.
Okay, any question for either Dr. Morris or Chancellor Nam before we move on? All right, thank you so much, Chancellor Nam and Dr. Morris. And it's a great pleasure to work with you and also faculty senator. Let us move to the reports briefly. And for the executive committee's report, I've already done it, so we skip it. Election committee, Bethany?
Yes, let me get my notes. Okay, so we obviously have had our general election, and for some colleges, we've had to extend that because we did either got no nominees or not enough nominees for the number of seats we had open. But by next week, we will have elected 14 of the 17 open spots on the Senate. I believe 11 of those will be joining us in the second half, and then the remaining 3 are through the extended elections. So CBA, CHHS, CLA, School of Music, and the NTTs will have full complement of senators as of today. Again, we extended the general elections for CALPS and for School of Education. But we will still have 1 opening in CECTM, 1 opening in CALPS, and 1 opening in CAM remaining. So we will call a special election most likely at the beginning of the 23-24 academic year next fall to fill those remaining seats. And that is my report.
Thank you. I just want to make a comment. I know we have gone through reorganization. I want to expressly thank both Bethany and Grant Mina, who was the previous vice president of Faculty Senate. Did a wonderful job to help us to back to normal. A lot of work. I wouldn't done it. They did an excellent job. Thank you so much, Bethany. And
Thank
I
you.
know,
Most of that was Grant, so he
Grant.
deserves the majority of the thanks in that.
Grant, are you? I know you are here, Grant. I want to acknowledge you too. Thank you so much. And again, Dr. Mark Morris too. I think, and a previous officer like Professor Pont, they're very helpful to us during the transition. Yeah, thank you. Any question for Bethany? If not, we're going to move to Faculty Status Welfare Committee, and Scott and Arish, do you have any? I know you guys send the report. Any other quick comments, Scott?
Besides the report, I don't think there's anything extra that I know of to report.
Okay. Something. So nothing more to. Sorry, I didn't know what's going on. My internet just in my office disconnected. We connected. Yeah. Did I miss anything?
I think we were all in the same boat, so I think.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe just individual. Maybe this is a campus-wide issue.
I think so, Dr. Lee.
I think this part of the day has the largest amount of internet traffic on campus, and the routers have a hard time keeping up.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're done, Scott, right?
Yes, sorry if I caused a campus-wide failure of our internet. It wasn't me.
So we can move to the budget committee. Mike?
I just gave all the report that I need to, unless Farhan has some.
No, I don't have any other additional thing to say right now. Thank you.
Are we back on?
I think so. It seems to be a little bit better at the moment.
I'm not sure if you got that, Yuting. I gave all the report that I need to already, so unless Farhan has something he wants to add.
Farhan?
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add. Mike summarized it well. Thank you.
Okay. Any question for them? Otherwise, we move to the next one. We have a UEPC Undergraduate Education Policy Committee. I'm sorry, I skipped that unintentionally. Jennifer Walker, would you like, I know you sent the report to us. You may say it briefly.
Okay. We had 3 pending RMEs, all with cannabis science. And we had a few questions from the committee that we forwarded on to the program director. He responded a couple of days ago. And so I have forwarded all of that information on to Josh.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, I hope this will be on the agenda in May by the UEPC committee. Thank you. Governance committee or a committee on committee before governance committee on committee, Inan and Seung-Hee.
Thank you. We have submitted the call for university-wide committees. Josh was very helpful in getting that out and getting it updated. And we also have filled all our vacant spots, and our committee on committee members have endorsed and approved of those candidates. So they just need to be approved by Faculty Senate. So this is for the 2022 to 23 academic year. We wanted to make sure that those spots were filled so that the committees that convene over the summer will have a representative from Faculty Senate.
Thank you. Seung-Hee, anything to add?
Yes, as Ellen reported, we just got the approval from the committee for the next year, volunteer, the large university committee. Then, especially I would like to thank you to our committee. Whenever we request urgently, they kind of help us very quickly, so we can make the decision and processes very quickly. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Josh, for all of your work too.
Yeah,
Thank
ditto,
you.
ditto. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if there's no question for this committee, and then we move to the.
Lisbeth has a quick question.
Oh, okay, sure.
Thank you. Sorry about that. This is actually for the previous committee, and I didn't get to the button quickly enough. I just wanted to mention for the UEPC committee that we were very shorthanded all year. With several people were missing from the committee for half the year, and about half the people on the committee never came to a single committee meeting. And so we really functioned as a committee of about 4 people. And it's a really, really important committee. We take care of everything that has to do with undergraduate education goes through this committee. So I would just like to really encourage people to be on it for this next year, and to attend and to take it, seriously. If you're on the committee, come to the meetings, please.
Thank you. I know 2 of you, Senator Delana and Senator Walker. I will have 2 more people. I want to especially acknowledge. Okay, Senator Mina, who else? On this committee, UEPC, they did the heaviest lifting work. That's why I have a great respect for Dr. Josh Remick and Dr. Amy Barrow. And they did a lot of work, especially reviewing and writing resolution, and amazing work. Thank you, Elizabeth and Jennifer and Grant Miller, and who else is here? I think there should be 1 more person on the committee, UEPC. Yeah, I hope I didn't. Okay, do you remember Professor Delana? Who else would be here? Okay. That's okay. And Senator Wani, Rachel Wani.
Yes, I just have a question for Committee on Committees. And this is probably a matter for the next hour, but I would like to encourage the sending of that email to form the ad hoc committee on consensual relationships policy. I'd like to get that committee constituted if possible, still within the confines of this semester, so that we can meet once and then maybe once over summer in preparation of giving revisions to the Faculty Senate very early in the fall. So I don't know if that's something, Elaine, I think we talked 2 weeks ago about your committee sending out that call for the diverse folks on that committee. But if that's something we could still do in the confines of this semester, I know Mila would really appreciate that. And she also wanted me to share that she would like to be on that committee, because I've expressed interest in wanting to be on that committee as well. And that's not a Faculty Senate committee per se. It's just ad hoc committee to work on that policy. But we don't want to delay it to the fall if possible.
Okay.
Very good suggestion. Very good. That's great. Maybe we can get it again. Okay. We can talk more during the second session.
Second hour. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We are going to move on. We have about 19 minutes. Governance Committee. Patrick and Khalid.
Yes, thank you. I don't really have anything to report. I submitted the written report and hopefully that was clear. If anyone has any questions, please let me know, but I'll yield to Khalid to see if Khalid has anything he wants to report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Khalid, anything to add?
So I guess the report that Patrick sent actually included everything, so there is nothing to add.
Okay, thank you. And I know Vice Chancellor of Research cannot be here due to another meeting at the same time. You send us the email, so just we skip that. And IPHE and Faculty Advisory Council.
Yes, good afternoon. Yeah, we like the Faculty Advisory Council did meet on April 19th at the Western Illinois University. So we had a guest presentation by the Director of Illinois Institute for Rural Affairs, Dr. Chris Merritt. Particularly, he talked about how do we promoting local rural development in Illinois. One interesting fact I learned is like the population decline of various rural counties in Illinois is still pretty early on. And then he also gave some examples on how revitalizing the rural economy, I think probably SIUC will have a major role to play in Jackson County and also surrounding counties, and we could look into this and then also integrate it as a part of the university strategic plan. The second one is faculty members from a few universities talking like shared information about the strikes, faculty strikes or the pending strike among campuses in Chicago State University and the Government State University. These two campuses had faculty had a strike, and also Eastern Illinois University is discussing or preparing for the strike. There's a lot of information. I think you can probably look online to gather information to see how those like the faculty and the student and the staff situations. That's one. The next one will be on next meeting will be on November 19th. Hopefully I will be able to report to the new faculty senate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Lee Chang-Wang. Any question for her? Okay, if not, we're going to move to the Graduate Council representative, Dr. Thomas Vanasco.
Hello, Dr. Lee. Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. And ad hoc committee, on institutional ranking and education quality. In fact, we met last Thursday, and the meeting notes will be shared with faculty senate, hopefully in the month of May. Okay. So, and we had about 70 members attended, including faculty member, students, and other administrators. So, and each group, each subgroup give a brief report about the area. We had 3 groups. Group 1 or subcommittee 1 focus on student success, which include retention, graduation rate, financial support, and group 2 or subcommittee 2 focused on academic reputation and relationship and campus safety. So we give a brief report. Group 3 focus on faculty quality and faculty compensation, and also they give a report. And I will summarize the meeting and then share with the faculty senate in May. Thank you. Any question for, or I know Inan, Dr. Inan Jokovsky, and she was teaching at the same time. She could not be there. And if any of you want to, in fact, I recorded the meeting. If any of you want to see the record, let me know. Okay, I will share the recording of the meeting with you. Any question for me? If not, I think we move to old business, which we do not have here. In fact, one of them, I think we had IDOL committee, and Senator Rachel mentioned, which we're going to discuss during the second session. And new business, we want to especially recognize those outgoing senator. What I'm going to do, I'm going to call the name. Make sure you raise your hands. At least no. Okay, let's start it from Concha for Agriculture, Life Science, and Physical Sciences. So Khalid, Senator Khalid, Maxine, could you raise up your hands? Okay, so everybody can see you. Thank you so much, Khalid. Okay, and Lee Chang-Wang, Senator Lee Chang-Wang. Okay, thank you so much for your service. So Concha for Business and Analytics, Senator Sylvia Smith, Professor Smith, where are you? Good to see you. Thank you. And CHS, myself, obviously I'm here. And Senator Jennifer Walker, where are you? Okay, thank you so much, Jennifer. And School of Education, Senator Grant Miller. Thank you so much for your second, I think you served on Senator for 2 terms, right? 6 years. Thank you so much for your service for 6 years. Amazing, yeah. And Concha for Engineering, Computing and Technology and Mathematics, Senator Van Chowdhury. Thank you. Okay. Okay. And Concha for Liberal Arts, Senator Patrick McRoth. Thank you so much, Patrick. I know Senator George Remick, he's on sabbatic. He's not here, but I thank Joe for his excellent work, especially on the UEPC, and I have very high respect for Joe. Thank you, Joe. Okay. And the School of Medicine, we have Senator Eric Black. Are you here, Eric? Okay, and also Senator Elizabeth Danana. Thank you so much, Senator Danana. Okay, and NTT, we have Senator Amanda Pancrazio. Do I see her? Okay, Senator Mike Phillips. Thank you so much, Mike. And Senator Junie Tate. Junie, Thank you so much for being also the officer this year. And Senator Sherry Watson. Thank you so much, Sherry. I think that's pretty much the acknowledgement of outgoing senators. Any other comments, announcement? Well, if there's no announcement or comment, so we are going to move to the last one on the agenda. And that means I need a motion to end or adjourn the meeting. Anyone to move?
So moved.
Okay, anyone second? Okay. Thank you so much. We have 2 seconds, one from Senator Danana, another from Lee Chong Wang. So it doesn't matter to me. Thank you so much for working on this, Senator. And I know the next hour we will have a new senator. Some of you will continue. So if you continue as a current senator, I will see you at 2 o'clock in about 8 or 9 minutes.
That's
Thank
on
you.
the same Zoom, right?
Yeah, same thing, Zoom. Okay.
Great.
You just stay here and mute yourself. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's 2:00. I would like to call the meeting to order. Before we elect the new secretary and kindly, I would like to ask Junie. Junie, would you like to do roll call?
Yes, I was trying to do it just by the names on the screen, or I can do a full roll call, either one, whichever you would prefer.
Again, I will defer to you. What's the most convenient to you? And especially we have 11. We have 11 new senators. Make sure they are here.
Okay, I'll just run through it really quickly.
Sure.
The ones that I know, I'll just say I've seen you and maybe save a little bit of time there. So I've seen Bethany Rader. I saw Scott Gilbert earlier.
Yeah, he teaches.
And then Elaine Drakowski. I can't see everybody's pictures at once, so I can't see if she's still with us.
I think she's here.
Okay, yes, I see you, Elaine. Stacey
I'm here.
McKinney.
Stacy is here, yes.
Yang Chen. I think she's still here. Arash Kamai. I may just have you all speak up if that may be quicker than me trying to look.
Arash.
Arash. I think we've maybe lost him. Seung-Hee Lee.
Here.
Diana Sarko.
Here, I'm
Diana
proxy.
so you're proxy and person now, I guess. Michael Eichholz.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I see you now. Alicia Cummings for Robert Broomfeld.
Here.
Jeffrey Punske.
Here.
Okay. Lorelei Ritchie. Okay. Michael Hyland. Rachel Whaley.
Here. And
Mary.
I saw the box for Arash is still here, but I don't know if he's back.
Okay, maybe he had stepped away.
I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay. And Mary Taylor for Walter Ray.
Here.
And Saeed Samadi. I saw that earlier, but I don't know now. Mehdi, and I'm sorry, Mehdi, Kanamwood?
Yeah, here.
Is he still here?
She's here, yeah.
Oh, she's here. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry,
John
I'm
Davey.
muted. Sorry.
John Davey
Here you go.
and Louis Premkumar. Earlier, I saw. Oh, okay. Young T. Lee, I know you're here.
Yes. Yeah.
Jennifer Walker.
I'm here.
Yes. A new member, I'm sorry how to pronounce your name. NWAMAKA.
I'm here, thank you.
Okay. Amber Pond, I know is here. Randall Oxter.
Randall.
He was teaching.
Okay. And Christopher, and is it, I'm not sure how to pronounce
He's
it.
teaching
Right.
also.
Okay. Sheree Watson, I saw earlier. Yes, I see you now.
She's here.
Daniel Bronke,
I'm here.
that name earlier. Marissa Ellerman.
I'm here.
And then, is it Gaussen Ishak?
Yep. Gasani Ishak, yep.
And then Jeffrey Young.
Yep, Jeff is fine. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so
That's all.
much. I think, okay, all the new senators, I think except those teaching, they're here. So now I think the new members and those nominees, they should have received the package from Josh. So now let's recognize the new members, and I'm going to call the guys. Your name, you just wave your hands. Okay, the first one, obviously myself, wave my hands. Okay, myself. Actually, second term, Jennifer Walker, new members. Okay, and new senator Anita, right? Anika or not Anita? Okay, how do I pronounce your first name? Wameka Anita, right?
Yes, so you could call me Amaka. Amaka's fine.
Amaka, okay,
Yes, thank you.
Amaka, Senator Amaka Anita, thank you. And Amber Pond, Senator Amber Pond, it's good to see you here again. Welcome you back. And Randall Oxia, I think the person is teaching, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. He's teaching. Christopher Winker, could you raise your hands? Christopher?
Chris is teaching also.
Oh, Chris is also teaching. Okay, Sherry Watson, welcome you back. Sherry?
Hello.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay, I see you there. Thank you. Welcome you back. And Daniel Bronca. Okay, you're here. Thank you. And Marisa Enaman.
Hello.
Hi, welcome you, Marisa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. New senator. Okay. Tyson Ishak.
Yep. Nope.
Welcome you here, Senator Ishak. And new senator Jeffrey Young.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Good to see you here. Okay, Jeffrey. Okay. I think this is pretty much the new staff, new senator. And now we're going to the orientation package. Okay. I assume the new senator who should have received the role, responsibility of faculty senator. And also, it's important for all of us to read the open paper because nobody is above the law or open paper. We have to follow that. That's very important. Sometimes, I mean, if we are not clear, it's important to read the open paper. So about the role of the faculty member, faculty senator, and senator's office as well. And then the role of standing committee. Again, okay, honestly, everybody will serve on one of the committees. And in addition, if you are going to, you can serve on two committees. If you're on committee, that means on committee, you can serve on another committee. So that's pretty much the expectation and responsibility of different individual or groups. Okay, any question or comments? Okay, if not, we're going to start the next one, number 4, election of officer. And so we are going to, in fact, the voting procedure review. It's very simple. In fact, what we got, by the way, because of the last week, the power shortage issues, we only have 1 day discrepancy, but we worked out smoothly. So you received the nomination and the package from those people who are interested in serving as officers. So we have 3 openings, and also we have 3 candidates, which is good. Okay, there is no, as far as I know, there is no competition. It's pretty straightforward, right?
Yes, but don't forget that anyone can elect themselves for those offices prior to voting as well.
Right. If you, let's say, we, on the floor, we are open to any self-nomination or nomination to run for any offices in addition to what you have received. So if you are interested to run for any officer, please raise your hands. Arish, you have a question or raise your hands? Arish Kamoy. We cannot hear you.
What's the question? I was.
The question is that so far we have 3 candidates. We have a candidate run for president, a candidate who runs for vice president, a candidate runs for secretary. So do we have anyone who is interested in running for one of the position? It's open on the floor. So I saw your hand was raised. Do you have any question or you?
No.
Oh, okay. So if you guys have no question, we're going to close nomination or self-nomination on the floor. And unless I will ask one more time, make sure you guys are okay. You have no more question. We're going to proceed. Is that okay with you? Okay. So next, first, we are going to vote for a president. You read the bio from our current, in fact, the candidates, our current vice president, Dr. Bethany Reeder. So, and as usual, we are going to ask each candidate to present themselves. If you have a question, then you can ask him or ask her or him. Would that be okay with you guys? Okay, Bethany, you're the first one. Would you like to say a few?
Yeah, I would. And forgive me, I have a little thing that I want to read because improv is really not my strength. So this may sound a little robotic, but it is meant from a good place. So first, I want to thank Yu Ting for his 2 years of service as president to the Senate. And as was mentioned in the last hour, these are very large shoes to fill, and it is kind of intimidating. But I mean, that's pretty much everything at a university is hard shoes to fill and kind of intimidating. So there you go. But for those that don't know me, I'm Bethany Rader. I'm an associate professor in the microbiology program. I've been at SIU for 9 years, and I've been on the Senate for the past almost 4 years, where I've served previously as co-chair of the UEPC committee and as the vice president of the Senate for the past 2 years. In addition, I am an undergraduate advisor for my program, the microbiology program, and I'm the chair of the operating paper committee for our School of Biological Sciences, amongst other roles. My priority for the roles that I take at this university, as well as my roles in Senate, have been and continue to be student and faculty welfare. My time in Senate has been actually very interesting. I've always had a thirst for sort of figuring out how things work and where my voice can be heard best. I started just before the pandemic, and I've seen a lot of shifts in the SIU community. Some have been very positive. We've had new faculty, we've had new changes in administration. There's a new awareness of mental health, both student and faculty, as well as new awareness of equity on campus. Those are examples of very positive changes. Some have been negative, such as salary compression, decreases in student enrollment, and loss of faculty to competitive institutions. And while these issues are not unique to SIU, faculty do deserve to have their voices heard on those matters, as well as other matters that affect our ability to function here at SIU. So Senate is a really unique place to do this, as we have frequent access to administration and to administrative initiatives, and can have our voices heard in these meetings and combine that with the important committee work that the Senate members do, that they devote their time and their effort to. So I really do admire this body and the diverse faculty that join and serve. And I would be honored to continue serving the SIU faculty and the Senate as president. So those are the words I wanted to say. Please let me know if you have any questions about me or the Senate.
Thank you very much, Bethany, for your presentation. And I would like to say a few words. I've been enjoying working with her, and she's an outstanding colleague, very collaborative, very supportive for the faculty, Senate faculty members. And one thing I want everybody to be aware of, in the past, in fact, in the past years, no faculty Senate president had received any course winners, including myself. Okay, Mark Morris, Marcus Alden, as well as Sigon, didn't receive any course winners. Okay, and I worked with other faculty senate chairs present in the state of Illinois. They usually get at least a course winners. So, and I shared with our faculty Senate Executive Council last week. I said I would like to help the new senator, whoever will be elected, to at least get a course winners, because a lot of work. If you see the job description, required duty, put a lot of hours as to represent faculty senator effectively. I'm sure Bethany will do a great job for us. I just want you guys to be aware about this. Any question for Bethany?
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, if there are no question, we're going to move to the next candidates. And then after all the candidates present, we're going to do vote virtually. Josh, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, the next candidates, okay, to run for vice president is Senator Ilan Joukowsky. Would you like to make a brief presentation?
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Well, thank you all for being with us today and on Faculty Senate. I'm pleased to represent Faculty Senate as vice president. This is my 4th year that I'm completing on Faculty Senate. My initial term was one in which another colleague had been elected, and I then ended up fulfilling the rest of their term when they left the university. And it's been a really terrific experience for me, in the sense that I've really been able to learn not only about faculty welfare, but also, how to exercise faculty voice and work with different committees to advocate for changes. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a professor in the social work program that's part of the College of Health and Human Sciences. I also serve as our graduate program director and have also overseen the gerontology programs for a number of years. I've been on campus long enough to have a gold parking sticker. So I hate having to figure out the math on that one, but at any rate, I have served in a number of different capacities. So I feel like I have really been able to understand the lay of the university. I was a faculty fellow in the Associate Provost Office for Assessment. So during that tenure, I learned a lot about assessment for both academic and non-academic sides of the university. Then I also served as a faculty fellow for the provost. And during that term, I worked with helping look at the issue of first generation students. And as a result of some of the work that I had the opportunity to do, we have some resources now on campus to help support those students. So more recently, I served on the Committee on Committees. You've probably seen my name requesting people to help volunteer. And one of the things that I learned during this process is that you can't just sit back and send an email. You actually have to call people and invite them and find people's strengths and help them find their place and how they can contribute to campus. So I do hope that I can continue that tradition in terms of, helping people find voice. And I also try to be an advocate for justice and equity. And then I myself think that I use a lot of the skills from my discipline in the work I do in committee work. So as a social worker, you learn skills around negotiation, mediation, active listening, brokering, and advocating. So I think that those things I definitely use in the work I do as just something natural that comes to me. So this is a little bit about my portfolio. And I hope that that I can be of service to our Senate and also to the executive, to Bethany, in terms of supporting her in her role and helping to be a little bit of a glue to the mortar to help us all kind of solidify and be able to move forward as one voice in a body as a faculty senate. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Elaine, for your presentation. And I would like to just make a brief comment. I think I have been working with Senator Elaine Joukowsky in the past 3 years. I enjoy working with her. She's currently the co-chair of Idaho Committee. And she will be a great team player with Bethany, the president candidates. And one thing I want to be upfront, no vice president for faculty senate will get any cost we need. I want to be.
I know.
So of course, okay, you have next duty, maybe next time, then the Senate president, but still a lot of work involved. Faculty senate election, attended the meeting of graduate council, responsive to the email. And that's something I want you to be aware. That means, especially working with the election area, I'm sure you two, and plus the secretary will work out. Thank you so much for your interest in solving. Any question for her, for Elaine? Okay, if no more question, we're going to move to the third candidate, Dr. Mike Heinen. And I think he expressed his interest to run as the secretary. Dr. Heinen, are you there?
I don't think he's here, Dr. Lee.
So usually, according to the rule, what do we do if the person is not here? Should we postpone the election until what? Bethany, I need to go back to you because you are the experts of election.
Yeah, this particular scenario is not mentioned in the operating paper. I don't see why we can't vote on him because it is a candidate on the ballot. There's nothing in the operating paper that says they have to be present or have to give say a few words about their candidacy. So I say let's continue to vote. I can talk on his behalf a little bit since I know him.
Sure.
So Dr. Hyland is a member of the psychology program. He actually started the same year that I started, so 2014. And we actually collaborate on some scientific projects together. One thing I will say about him, he has a lot of opinions and he's not afraid to share them, which I think is absolutely great. He is very involved in student outcome, both at the undergraduate and graduate level. He's very passionate about what he does, especially his science in the department. And I think, he wants to get more involved in policy. He wants to get more involved in bodies like the Senate. And I think as a secretary, he would do a really excellent job.
Okay. Maybe both you or someone else will help us to answer the general question. Maybe other faculty senators will ask the same question. Is he teaching, or do you know why he couldn't be here? Josh, or or something prevent him for being here, or?
I didn't get a response, so.
So, Bethany?
I have not heard anything. I'm going to send him a very quick text.
So any other question for him or any, again, okay, I want to stick to the process to be fair to all the candidates. And any other questions before we move on? Okay, if no more question, we're going to move to vote. Okay, so Josh?
All right, so I'm just going to share a SurveyMonkey link in the chat. And then if you guys just click on the chat, you'll just go to the link and just vote for the 3 officers, okay?
Okay.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Dr. Lee, I can get the results and I can send you them. And if you want to announce it underneath announcements, item 9, we could probably do that.
Just a second. Okay, how many people vote?
I show 17.
Okay. Now, could you send the results to me, then I will announce it?
Yes.
Okay, basically, so congratulations to Bethany, who is elected as the next president. Elaine Jogovsky is elected as the next vice president, and Dr. Mike Heinen is the secretary. Okay, so that's what I got from Josh. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. And now we are going to move to item number 5, election of the committee, which is very important. And as far as I know, we need 6 new members because I know that the previous member, Inan, 10 is over, and Sunki was 2 years over, and then just now, Mike Heinen was elected as secretary, so he cannot be on the committee. So we need 6 new members, right, Josh?
Yes, that's correct.
So we need 6 volunteers. You can serve on 2 committees, then one on the committee, then plus another standing the committee. So I need 6 volunteers. So anyone would like to be volunteer? Amber, would you like to be on the committee? On committee?
Oh, I'd love to.
Yes or no?
Committees are my thing.
Okay, yes,
I do
right?
it.
Okay, thank you. So you know it, that's great. Anyone else? Okay, Sherry, second volunteer, anyone else? Any new member? Okay, we have Joe. Okay, I think Joe used to be on the committee. That's great. We have 3, and we need 3 more.
You mean Dr. Davey?
Yeah, Joe Davey. Mike, congratulations, you elected as
Thank you.
secretary, and because you are the officer, you cannot be on the committee.
Okay, that's fine. I'm
And we
fine
need
with stepping
6.
down.
Yeah, we need 6 new members. And now we have 3, Amber, Joe Davey, and Sherry, and also Rachel, 4. Need 2 more. Okay, we have Marissa, yes, 5. And okay, Jennifer Walker, 6, very good. And now, Josh, who is the next one? Should continue with 7?
Hey, you take a quick point of order. Isn't the new president supposed to take over the meeting at this point?
They didn't say here the new president. I think they will start. New president will start in May.
Oh, okay.
So here it says that okay, I take care of this.
Okay, my mistake then.
I'm fine either way.
She covered this in the past for me, so this time I cover it for her. Okay, so she will cover May's meetings, May 2nd or whatever. Okay, so now we have Josh. We have 6 new members. Who was the?
Lorelei Ritchie. She will be continuing.
Oh, she will continue. So now we have 6 new members here. We need to.
And then Committee on Committees is a 2-year term also.
Yeah, 2 years term. And they need to elect the co-chairs. Right? I think they need to elect the. So I will, for the co-chair election, I will defer to the new president who will work with these 6 members. And then the 6 members will elect the co-chair. My suggestion, the co-chair would be someone who served on the committee who knows the process. Some of you served there. Just my suggestion, okay.
And this is really important because one of the first things we do is assemble our committees. And we'll do that before as quickly as possible. And our next meeting will be, I believe, May 2nd. So that's coming up really, really quickly. So that's the reason that Committee on Committee really gets its stuff going early on.
Thank you. Amber?
Sherry Watson has served on this before. I'm tattletelling.
Jennifer Watson, right?
You want to be co-chair?
Yes.
And Laura Ritchie has served on it last year.
Okay, good.
Either
Go ahead.
way, either way.
Well, we need two people though.
Only two people to be the co-chair. Okay, so Sherry Watson and John David, did you serve on the committee 2 years ago, right?
No.
No. Okay, no.
I think
No
Sherry
one
Watson and Amber Pond would be a power team.
Amber Pond. Okay, two of you. Okay, good. Amber Pond and Sherry Watson, committee member, would you like, are you okay with these two volunteers to coordinate the committee?
I
Okay,
have a quick question.
sure.
I'm only serving a 1-year term. Does that affect whether or not I can even be elected to the committee? I'm happy to help with this committee. I'm happy to do whatever, but
You
I'm
could
only
just-
serving.
Appoint someone again next year to take your place.
It
Okay.
actually might not be a bad thing because that way we stagger the term.
Yeah.
And
I
there's
think
always
actually
somebody
that-
there for continuity.
I
Okay.
think that's a good idea.
Okay, good to go.
Very good. So we have 7 members on the committee, and we have 2 volunteers who have experience on this committee, Amber and Sherry. Thank you so much. Any question or comments or any?
I do have a question mainly for Sherry. When do, normally in the past, when we had physical meeting surroundings, we met physically, we would meet during this meeting. Are we going to set up a Zoom meeting for the next meeting for us, for this committee? How are we going to handle that?
Well, I would defer, first of all, to the new president and officer to arrange the second. And you committee, or you two, make sure, again, okay, the new president are going to prove you guys. And then the committee member will feel pleased with you too. And then pretty much, again, you two just at this point, again, and are not official until the new president, Bethany, is going to prove you guys. I cannot say, mine is just recommendation, suggestion, that's it. I make sure I will not overstep my role. That's.
Really quickly, was your question about a specific committee on committees meeting or the next Senate meeting? Amber, oh, sorry.
I was just wondering, in the past, when we met in a room physically,
Yeah.
we would meet that same day during that meeting.
Oh.
And I'm wondering, how do we going to handle that now? By Zoom, I'm assuming. Are we not going to meet in person for the rest of the
Right.
year?
Yeah, so I think for next week's FSEC meeting and for the following Senate meeting, because it's just so hectic and so many people are so overwhelmed at this point, we will continue to meet on Zoom, but we will revisit that for the fall.
Okay, very good. Very good. By the way, I think if you guys want to stay behind, if we have time today, committee, we're welcome to stay here. And the new officer are welcome to stay here. I can leave or Josh can stay here. That's fine. It's up to you guys to plan. Okay, I will defer to you all folks. Okay. So if you have no question on the committee and the 2 volunteer to serve as the co-chair, and then we're going to the committee preference form. I know I myself have not submitted any preference form yet. Okay, and I plan to get it submitted today. And if you haven't done so, especially new members, make sure you complete the form, send to Josh. How many forms have you received, Josh?
I'm not sure. I have probably about 10. So if you haven't submitted it, just please submit it to me. So then Dr. Lee, I do have a question for the co-chairs for committee on committees. Do we need to approve them? Does the committee on?
Yes, we need a motion. Yes. Now, because as part of the procedure, we first of all, we need to have a motion to approve those 6 new members. And second, and we can prove them together if you want. Okay. Second, okay, committee on committee, we have two co-chairs. Okay, we need a motion. I can move it. Anyone to second? That means, okay. Mike, you want a second?
Yep, I'll second that we accept the 6 new committee members and the new chairs in a single vote.
Okay, good. Thank you. So we're going to vote. If you all in favor, raise up your hands electronically and physically. Maybe electronically we can easily count.
I show 17.
17, that's good. Okay. So anyone have objection? Okay, abstention. No. Okay, so committee on committee new members approved and the co-chair approved by the faculty senator. And now it's the job of the committee on committee to work with the new officer and also the committee, they elect their own co-chair of each standing committee based on open paper. So committee on committee preference form, if you haven't done so, please send to Josh as soon as possible. We have any new business. Oh, yes. Senator Rachel Wani, I think you raised a very good question in the previous session. I would like to say more.
Yes, so at the last Senate meeting, we voted on the recommendation to form a committee, the university-wide committee, to review and revise our consenting relationships policy to be in alignment with other state universities in Illinois. Ours is quite subpar compared to others. And a graduate student presented to all of us as to why we needed to review this policy and requested that we make a committee. So I'm requesting that we try to get that committee formed still yet this semester with members who want to get started immediately and are willing to work over summer so that we can present a new policy to faculty, senate, and administration in the fall.
Thank you.
We need a call for, university-wide call for someone to be able to serve on this committee.
I think you can work with the new officer as well as the new co-chair of the committee on committee. And then maybe George can send an announcement based on the resolution we approved at the last faculty senate meeting. That means it's in the minutes on April 11th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Any question for Rachel before? Okay, so the next one, announcement. Well, I would like to take a moment to thank Josh, to thank Bethany, Rita, and Junie, Ted for their work with me in the past years, and also congratulations to the new officer, President Reda, and Vice President Jokovsky, and Secretary Mike Heinen, and best luck, best wish to you all. And I think that's pretty much my announcement. Anyone, any other comments, announcement?
Did any of the new senators have any questions or anything like that for us?
Okay, so no questions. Well, if there's no question, we have about 45 minutes. The first time we saved about 15 minutes, okay. And now I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Anyone move it?
So moved. Oh, sorry.
Okay. So anyone second?
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, June 2nd. So thank you so much. And we're going to adjourn the meeting and have the rest